Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Sussy Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly, and each week we dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
Hi, sinners, and welcome to episode 20. Can you believe it? Of Come With Us, your new favorite podcast. Well, your favorite podcast, and that's it. I'm Sussy Nunez, and this week I'm grateful for. Actually, no. Let's start with the guests. Deborah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Excited
Phenomenal.
to be back too.
Love it. I want to ask you, what are you grateful for this week?
I am very thankful for my Kindle for reawakening my inner smut since 2018.
Yes.
Love that.
Heck yes. Reshea, what are you grateful for this weekend?
Snaps
How
all
are you?
around. I am grateful for my kids.
That's so cute.
They
Look at
keep
you.
me sane.
Oh,
That's it.
and insane too. I love it.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I became a mom 12 years ago today. So it's basically more of a day for me than it is for my kid, but it's whatever.
Happy momversary.
Happy
We love you.
momversary.
Happy momversary. How about you,
Awesome.
Susie?
Me, I'm grateful for my antidepressant because it's working, it's kicking in, and I freaking love it. I'm so grateful for it.
Hell yeah.
Good
Heck
job.
yes.
Fantastic. It's great that you're taking care of yourself.
Thank you. I know. I'm so happy for that. I'm so grateful for that too. All right, guys, you're ready. This week we're talking about Losers 2. We're ending, sadly, this amazing, fantastic, and so good of a series that I am DMing Harley LaRue every day so they can keep writing books about them because I love them so much.
Honestly, I think it's good. Like, we had this whole fate situation where we had to cancel this recording halfway through last week, and then reschedule it for today. And 2 days ago, Harley LaRue put out a bonus chapter. So now we get to talk about it.
I'm fangirling over it.
I am so
It
excited,
was
you guys.
great. It's like a dopamine hit for an addict, like a smut Manson specific addict. You're like, oh yeah, give me more, baby.
We need to talk about this chapter, but let's start with I think this series is like our favorite, like the three of us of 2023, right?
Oh yeah.
100%. I don't think anything can top this, to be honest with you.
I am so flabbergasted because you came here last year saying St. Meadows is my man. Nobody can like take him away from me. He's my number one. And then look at this.
It's amazing what people who have mental health issues but work on it can do to a sex appeal. Because Zade Meadows, sure, attractive, really can get you going by putting his belt around your neck. But he also is probably literally a psychopath. These four men are also battling certain mental illnesses, depression, CPTSD, anxiety, things like that. But they're working on it and they're so self-aware. And there's something really hot about a guy who is self-aware.
Yes. I don't know if you guys remember now that we mentioned St. Meadows, but Deborah was here for episode 9 of the last season. If you haven't listened to that episode, go because you're going to love it. Deborah is insane and she has so many good points. Go and listen to that or watch it on YouTube. Deborah, if you have, before we get into the series, if you have to choose 3 books from the last year, 2023, that have to be your top 3, which one would they be? It can be books, it can be series.
Oh, this is easy. The Losers Duet 1 and 2, and also The Sacrifice. Those are my absolutely top 3s. I would give my top shelf for. Looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, Zade Meadows, Haunting Adeline. It's not the only book boyfriend, if that makes sense. There's so much more. And now that I actually read these, it's like I have Zade Meadows as my top. Now I have Zade Meadows, I think, on my 4 or 3 somewhere. But he's knocked down a peg.
Interesting.
That's fair.
Question. Do I have to read The Ritual and the second one so I can understand the sacrifice, or no?
To be honest, there are some things on the sacrifice that will make you be like, oh, wait, that was in the first one. Oh, wait, that was in the second one. But in my opinion, it could be read as a standalone because you barely see the previous characters from before. So it does mention like the characters from before, like the rich one, the sinner. They do mention the characters, but other than that, it doesn't. You don't really cross paths like other series, you know.
That kind of reminds me of like how the Salacious Players Club can be read as a series, but you can also enjoy the books as a standalone with minimal spoiling and things like that, because
Exactly.
they're parallel to each other, same world, but not constantly interacting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Deborah, I want to say congratulations on the wedding and on the getting married.
Thank you. Yeah, last time I was there, I was a fiance. Now I'm a whole ass wife.
Ooh,
Somebody's wife now.
Now, getting into the books, you guys, it's the time to talk about this masterpiece of a series. Deborah, we want to know your thoughts on The Dare.
I will say I wasn't expecting some hints of BDSM into it. I just thought it's gonna be like, shoot, something that I read. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was a little bit from Sick Boys. I think I expected a little bit from that, but when I actually read it, oh my goodness, what a surprise it was. I couldn't immediately I couldn't stand Jess. And the minute she was talking about Manson, how he just walked in front of her, not a single care in the world. Oh my gosh, why does that get me hot and bothered? Why? I don't know. Why is it always the ones that literally do not care about us? And then the more I read it, I'm like, okay, I'm liking it, I'm loving it, I'm envious now, I'm jealous. Why? I no longer saw Jessica as blonde. I no longer saw her as anything. I imagined myself. I'm not gonna lie. I imagined myself. I'm like, please, is there anything I can do to be in this book, in the series? I want to be her so bad. All four of them around me. Like, can you imagine just force? Oh my goodness.
I may have thought about it a time or two. Yes.
That's
maybe
all of
good
us,
thinking.
babes.
That's good thinking.
For research purposes, for the podcast, obviously. I am
Yeah.
Okay, so when you read The Dare, how fast did you go by Losers 1 and 2?
Too damn fast, I'll be honest. I was so depressed when that sucker was open. When it was finally finished. I was so sad because I knew I would never find another like series, books, anything like this. And that's what gets me so more sad than the actual ending. Like there's nothing that will ever top this. I think it took me like a week. I tried to prolong it as much as I can, even though I want to read it. I want to know what's going to happen next. I want to know, but it was like a push and pull. Like I want to read it. I don't want to read it. It was depressing.
Dude, did anybody else kind of get a crush on the house too?
Oh my God, yes.
Just me? That house sounded bomb as fuck. All right, I want that house so bad.
I wanted to be in that basement. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna lie.
We're having a moment, like, I just love the architecture. We really love the open floor plan and the really big windows and the rooms that have doors connecting. And Deborah's like, I really wanted to be in that basement, just getting absolutely railed.
I mean, that basement
absolutely
is a dungeon.
A girl can dream.
Whew.
It will be
Remember
now.
when Lucas was like, we don't need a dungeon in order to torture you, and she was like, okay, we'll see.
I remember that.
What were some of your favorite like standout parts when you think back to Losers 1 and maybe Losers 2, because I know they kind of bleed together in my brain, at least. I don't know, like, what are the parts that live rent free in your brain, sexy or not?
There are multiples. One from Losers 1 was when they were gonna give Jessica as a payment for Jason, and he had his way with her, and he told everyone, hurry up and come upstairs that she's about to pass out. All of them hauled ass upstairs. All of them were there looking, and they went in to go destroy her. What was it? Jason was on one side, Lucas was on the other side, Vincent was eating her, and Manson was just enjoying the view. That was one of them. And I think back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to switch places with her at that moment. That's one of them. So from
Yeah.
Losers
All right.
2,
Mhm.
one of them that did live rent free. But this one, I loved it, but at the same time, I was disappointed. I was disappointed because Jessica told Manson about one of her fantasies, which was to be kidnapped, stalked, and like abducted, all of that. I was looking forward for her just randomly walking down the street and literally being abducted. And when I found out that she wasn't 100% in the dark, that was a little disappointing to me. I wanted her to, maybe it's what I want, or maybe it's, I don't know, but I would have loved it if she was walking down the street in her point of view and she immediately gets abducted by all four of them. I would have loved that. I thought that was it. But when I found out that she had some knowledge of it, like, oh, they're going on vacation, she's aware, and then out of nowhere, somewhere in Lucas's mind, flicked or snapped, and then he snatched her, threw her in the trunk, and like try to continue the role play. That was a little disappointing in my book.
Susie, do you have any points you want to make on that specific scene or no?
That scene, I freaking loved it, but I do have to say I was disappointed because when I was reading it, I really thought that they were going to do exactly what you said. We're going to, kidnap her and she's going to be in the dark. She's not going to know anything. And I was really waiting for that moment of her. Maybe this is the guys. Maybe this is not the guys. I kind of smell Manson, but maybe it's not Manson. Maybe someone that know them. Maybe it's Alex. And oh my God, I think if Erica Lust at some point makes the movie, please, Erica, add this. Add this to the movie because we want it.
That would have been so good. Yeah, I gotta say, I think I felt the same way too. As a reader reading something fiction, sometimes it's nice to read something that is so fantasy that it's not
real,
doable in real life. Yeah, it gets dicey when you're planning a CNC situation, like how much information to give and how much information to withhold. Also, because she had like an overbearing mom, she had to be able to have that time free and things like that. So like, I totally get that there was some logistics that had to go into it. And Harley did an amazing job of portraying a BDSM relationship that safely executes CNC, which is so cool, so great for them. And in real life, yes, do it that way. But I would love to read, because it's not real and this is my escape, I would also love to read something a little bit more on the extreme side sometimes. Like this almost felt like a manual, and I wanted to read something fiction.
To that point that you just said, I will just add that it makes sense that they did it that way. Even though we expected more, it made sense because of Jessica's job and the situation with the mom and everything that was going on, right? And honestly, I don't think it would have been like, we wanted it, but I don't think it would have been okay for them to do it because everything that was going down with Alex and Manson's dad, and it could have been something really bad if they did it that way. So Harley, we get it, but we wanted more.
Yeah.
Deborah, did this book unlock any fantasies or like maybe teach you something that you wanted to try? Maybe some fantasies? I want to know everything. Tell me.
I will say that seeing Manson how he is, even after all that trauma, after everything, I will say he's still okay with being vulnerable, being open, taking control. And that's something that I need to learn how to do, from being suppressed so many years and being shamed. Vulnerability was just not it for me. Not being open, it wasn't in the cards for me. So I grew up to have this industrial wall around me, no one can see. So now I am doing my absolute best to just start being vulnerable, you know, and be open and be very communicate on what I want to try, what I'm comfortable on trying, things of that matter. That's something that I'm still working on, and that's something that this book made me realize, okay, so if he can get through his traumas and everything, I can do the same, and I can try and do my best to be vulnerable, which I'm still working on, but it's a start.
Be kind to yourself because he's vulnerable, but he's in some situations, but he's also a control freak. So
Yeah.
you know,
I have
Yeah, that
coping
too.
mechanisms. You got to find your coping mechanism.
Deborah, I love your answer, and I did not expect it. So you were going to say something really, really, BDSM or like very, sexual or CNC type of things. And you're like, no, I'm opening more. I
I wasn't
What's
finished
something you?
though.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't.
Let her cook. That's what the youngins say these days. Let her cook.
I still don't get that, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Like you gotta simmer because you gotta let the flavors meld, and then you're like, hold up, it's not done yet. And then when it's
Mhm.
done, perfection. Go girl.
Got it.
Wow.
I'm also adding I'm also learning how to add toys into the mix, how to the whole CNC. I'm learning about it. I am very the idea gets me going, but it's like where do I start, you know? And also because not only that, I see how this book is, how BDSM works, and I want to know more. I want to like dip my toe in there, but I just don't know where to start.
Did you guys just answer yes or no? That's it. I don't need anything else. Did you guys, when you started reading these books, suspected that Lucas was going to be a sub?
No,
No.
Really?
not at all. I
I had no
didn't
idea.
know. It was a shock to me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting it. All right, so first we're obviously going to be talking about the blind date.
Oh my God. I'm already hot.
Good Lord. I think that chapter was amazing for so many different reasons. Because yeah, the it was hot, them like doing it in a bathroom and they could totally get caught. The little exhibitionist stuff going on. But I think what got me about it is the way that they juxtaposed the typical guy that Jess would go out with to Manson, who didn't even have to be sitting at the same table as her, and because he pays attention to her, knew what wine she wanted to try, things like that. He like couldn't, he was talking in his brain, like just his little inner monologue, saying how he couldn't keep his eyes off of her even if he wanted to. And there's something about that. I think all women kind of want that to know that they are just enamored by us. And guys don't usually communicate that. And I think that was just insanely hot. And then the after, so good too. Like it's just all in all, it's an amazing section of the book.
Before we talked about this, is it possible for us to talk about when they had sex in the river and Manson was edging Lucas, and that scene was so unbelievably good? How Lucas was
it was like
suffering.
what we wanted. It's what we wanted. The Starlight Pond chapter in A Court of Thorns and Roses to be. Except Lucian just ended up being a cockblock.
Sarah J. Maas, no comments. Honestly, oh my God, I was reborn after that scene. It was so good how Lucas was suffering and how Manson was just giving it what he wanted. Oh my God, it was phenomenal. It was so good.
That was pretty hot.
Not only that Jessica tortured him even more with the whole Kegel thing, and he just stopped there like, wait, Like, don't you dare! You're such a bad girl, trying to make him finish, defying my orders. I couldn't help it. I had to put the book down because I was just like in shock. Like, okay, oh my gosh, and I'm literally living it in my head while I'm reading it. I'm living it in my head. I'm like, oh
Of
my goodness.
course.
I'm Even though there's literally nothing in front of me, I'm imagining it right there. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. Damn, damn. I would love to be in her position.
It was so
Mm.
good. And the fact that
Yeah.
Jessica she was never allowed to come. Like she did it when she went home and everything, but before, no. And I think that was
Mm-hmm.
the perfect edging scene I've ever read. It was so freaking good. I loved it. Really.
Oh no, you're fine. That was really good. Was okay, yes or no? Was anybody else surprised that Jess just stopped being a brat?
Was
No.
I surprised that she stopped being a brat? A little bit. Yeah.
Because I kind of like the dynamic of, being put in her place. I feel like she said it plenty of times that she just wanted to obey Manson. And
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I don't think there's a single man on the face of this planet that could command me so well that I'd be like, I'm just going to be good for you forever. I'm going to be a brat at all the time.
I
For
feel
a
like it
man.
also lost its spark. Like, not not that spark, like where, no, I feel like something's missing. I feel like you can't be good all the time. You have to have like some spice. Otherwise you'd get like bored, if that makes sense. So when I found out, like, okay, like, why aren't you bratty anymore? Like, I want to see all the punishment. I want to see how far it could go, but it just wasn't there anymore.
Susie, opinions?
I mean, I know how. Okay. How can I explain this? There is a lot of dynamics between subs, doms, brats, slaves, puppies, pets, all of that, right? There's so many dynamics. And at the end of the day, what the dominant, the master, the sir, the daddy, whatever name we give the person or he likes to be called or they like to be called, their main goal is for you to submit, to be good. That is why the brat tamers love a person like Jessica at the beginning, because they want her to be like that. That's what Manson is, a brat tamer. And at some point in the book, he says something like, I would love to have someone like a slave kind of type of situation, right? He's going to be always dominating. She's always going to
Eventually,
be the
yeah.
sub. And that is the goal. That is always the goal. So I understand the dynamics because I get it. But I understand why you guys see it that way. The thing is that Jessica was always a sub, and that is something that I don't think you guys realized. She was a brat because that was a mask that she always had to put on, but she was always a sub, always and forever. She was, and she's always going to be a sub.
Well, I always assumed that a brat is a flavor of sub,
Of course, yeah.
but in my head it's like a strong-headed person who doesn't like being told what to do a lot of the time because of what one reason or the other. And it's not like once they get you to comply in one scene one day, all of a sudden you're just gonna be good from then on out. And like I don't know, I kind of expect her, because she talked about how much she loved being punished, but then she stopped doing things that would earn punishments. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I get it.
I think their dynamic was good. She knew she was going to get what she wanted, and they know what she likes. That's the thing.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I was expecting her to be a brat, like just at her core. And I think you were right, Susie. She wasn't a brat. She was a good girl. But she was so used to having that bitch persona but
Mm-hmm.
it was hard for her to drop it. So I think that's where Deborah and my disappointment was we were like, fuck yeah, brat. She wasn't one. she was acting like one, but once she found somebody that she could trust, then she fell into
Exactly.
her good girl era. Which, I mean, good for her. Good for her.
It's giving good girl.
Really
It's
good
giving
for her.
slave.
It's her good girl era.
Yeah, I
It's her
agree with you,
pet
TV,
era.
too.
Oh
I
my
agree
god.
because, like, if you read in the Dare, it constantly mentions that she wants to be dominated. She wants all of that.
Yeah.
But because of her high school reputation, she has to uphold it. Then that's why she has a horrible attitude. Well, now that she found someone who can, like you said, Rashad, like someone she actually trusts to put her in her place, to punish her, do everything. I think now she really is a sub at heart.
Yeah.
You know what? I know that you guys maybe think that she's always a sub, but she has bratty behavior sometimes. As a dom, I can tell you during the book when I was reading it, I was like, that's bratty behavior. You're being a brat. But it's not very highlighted like before. But she has bratty behavior
Not
because
with
brats
Manson
are
as
tough.
much though. Like
No, not with
I
Manson.
do appreciate that there's that she can have different relationship dynamics with each of them, that she can
Mm-hmm.
be that good girl for Manson,
Mm-hmm.
and she can be the switchy kind of person for Lucas. Like that
We need
time
to
that
talk about that
she
in a
told him
minute.
to get on
Yes.
his knees.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that was so good.
Oh my god. That scene, I remember I was like, wait, what's happening? Wait. But if it was going to happen with someone, it had to be Lucas. It was perfect.
Absolutely. I was
I
kind of
agree.
expecting her to do it with Jason too, but I loved that theirs became a mutual masturbation instead of an interacting situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a moment of silence while our brains reminisce.
Yep, I need that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so good.
That moment, honestly, I knew that at some point she was going to show some type of switching behavior because it has to happen. You have to at some point in a relationship, in that type of relationship specifically, you have to reverse, the roles. And I was expecting it to happen at some point, and I knew it had to be either Lucas or Vincent, but I was
Whoa,
surprised when
what?
it was only Lucas. Yeah.
I don't man, I think I loved that it was with Lucas just
It was perfect.
because. Do you remember when you told me last when we were recording that you associate Lucas with
A pit
Pitbull?
bull.
Not the rapper, the dog.
No. Yes.
um it was almost like it was that moment where he was acting up, or I know he was having really bad anxiety and she was trying to pull him out of it, and she had seen how Manson had done that in the past and how they bounce each other out that way. But also it kind of reminded me of, when a dog starts freaking out because you're taking it on a walk and he sees a squirrel, and then you just like jerk on the leash real quick and you tell him to heel. And it was like that moment where she was just like, she's like, hey, no. I was like, oh, and now I know why he's called Pup.
Oh my gosh, I will never get over that nickname too. That was so good. I loved it. I don't know why. Nicknames? Whew, goodness.
I'd never really heard a good submissive nickname for a man before. Pup. Chef's kiss.
When I tell you guys, I was at a cafe the other day, and a guy was talking to his, I don't know, his girlfriend or whatever, and he was saying, "No, you know the pup," and I was like, oh my god, Manson's here. Oh my god. And then I went like that, and the guy was so freaking old, and I was like, what's this not in my life? So I just wanted to say that because pup is not gonna sound the same in my life ever.
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Oh,
Good for
so
them.
good. Heck
Good
yes.
for them.
Good for them because
Okay.
I don't know. I seriously don't know how Jess could have done it because I I don't know. I really don't know what to say, but I will say this. That was, in my opinion, I feel like it was kind of ballsy too, because we know that Lucas will be and always be a sub for Manson. So for the fact
Mm-hmm.
that Jess came in, took the role, and did it herself, it was kind of ballsy in my opinion.
I
It
feel
was
like it
great.
was honestly her. I was her like doing it in a. I don't know. I've definitely had those moments where you're like feeling confident. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it this time. And then when Lucas was like, watch it, or I'm gonna end this right now. And she was like
Oh,
pushing the
honey.
buttons and pushing the buttons, and he was just like, and I'm done. And so,
I love
Like,
and
oh,
so
that
honey,
maybe
don't
because
this.
tell me with a good time.
the thing is that that is, I don't know, maybe I have no idea how they did the research for these books, but dude, that is so
Mhm.
true. That is so realistic. When you change the dynamics in a relationship like that, there's a moment when the dom's gonna be like,
Mhm.
okay, no, you're done, you're freaking done. And it was so perfect how Harley
Yeah.
did it in that part. Ah, I loved it. I loved it so much. Going back to the blind date, because we're going places and you know where we have to go. Going back to the blind date, Deborah, I think that you told me that you cried.
I did. I genuinely did cry. Um, Not only because of the actual date, but also what came after. They had their own mini date. How every attention to detail was per for Jess. The wine,
Mm-hmm.
the date in her closet, the chocolate cake. How he literally opened his whole heart and told her how he felt. I think what got me, what really made me cry, this one line that says, I love you, Jess. I loved you then, now, and forever. I cried. Immediately I cried. I couldn't stop. I'm like, how? But in my head, I'm like, how the hell could you love someone who made your life hell back then? But then again, I'm like, I have to keep in mind that this was almost 3 years into the future, right after the dare. So I think maybe that night was like the start of something.
Mm.
Well, I mean, he talked about how he was obsessed with her and couldn't stop thinking about her even when he was in high school.
Mm.
And I think we can lend a lot of that to hormones. She was really hot and he was a brat tamer and he knew he wanted to just like put her in her place. And so then he would
I
just fantasize about taking the school's bitch and just like,
I was talking to my friend today, and we actually talked about this. And the word that I used when we were talking about Manson and Jessica was he, and all of them are infatuated. They're obsessed with Jessica. If you think
mm,
about it, they that,
yeah.
I
Is that
mean,
too much to
listen.
ask?
See, listen. We I don't know how it will feel in real life because I've been in situations where someone, is a little bit obsessed, and I'm the type of person that I'm gonna be no. But if it is Manson, I don't know. I think it will be perfect. Or any other guys, it will be perfect.
Uh, honestly, there has to be a mutual attraction there
Yeah,
for it
of
to be
course.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
same definitely have had the stalkerish situation where like you're like, could you
Mm,
leave me alone now?
mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
really not interested. I'm not playing hard to get. Just go away. But I thought, Susie, for a second you were gonna say that you didn't know how you would feel in real life if four men were obsessed with you and wanted to like have you all at the same time. And I was like, I'd be fine with
Reshea,
it.
Reshea, do you know me or what?
Like, I don't know. I thought you were gonna say that, and I was like, this is out of character.
I know. Like,
Because I remember her favorite book
no.
was Talking Around.
Oh, good lord.
I
Oh
would die for
man.
my man. I would die for my man. And now I have 4 men more. So I'm gonna die for my 7 men. I don't care. I love them all. All mine. Okay.
Hey, if it makes you excited, there is a place for sale here in Tennessee. It's only $5 million, and it has 56 bedrooms, 33 bathrooms, and I'm saying we could just a few of us, and then every hot man that we want can just all live together.
Honestly,
What a dream.
honestly, we can make it work.
It was a retirement home, so it's probably also haunted.
Love it. Okay.
Throw in some paranormal romance.
Love it, love it, love it. You guys, from the blind date, I want to also add that I cried my eyes out when he told Jessica all of that. And then he said, you don't have to tell me anything. I don't expect anything. I was like, how is this man so perfect?
You know what else I just realized? Because you can't get enough of us, be sure to follow us at Come With Us Pod on all of our socials. That's TikTok, Instagram. I think we have a Threads. And you can find all of our links at our website, comewithuspod.com. Please leave us a 5-star review on whatever streaming platform you like to use. Make sure to like, follow, share, send us a message. We would absolutely love to get it. And then be sure to head on over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can not only hear our amazing voices in your ears, but see our beautiful faces through your eyes.
I mean, what more
You're
do you
welcome.
want? Sitters, you've been good little angels. Thank you for listening. And remember, stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. We love you. Bye.